Hi guys, this is a continuation of the Roguelike series of videos that I've been working on. In this one, this is the one I've been looking to release the least because it's the one I don't really know much about as far as roguelikes are concerned, which is the heart of roguelikes, which is random generation, procedural generation, whatever you want to call it. I start doing that in this video. So the first step is to try and figure out how we can do that inside Unity by taking something that's created inside Tiled, which is a map editor. We bring that into Unity, we create a data format for it, and then we draw a dungeon on the screen. So that's the first part. The second step of this is then to generate random rooms within each of them and then try and make that interesting through there. So by the end of this video, we actually have what looks like, starting to look like, a roguelike, which is kind of what we're aiming for here, which is very exciting. In fact, it looks very much like, I'm going to move over to here, it looks very much like this. So stay tuned, and that's what we'll end up with at the end of the video. So I've read everything, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get this done correctly, at least for this game anyway. And I don't want to spend a lot of time procedural generation. I just want to basically have like a random number generator. And there's a great article as part of Racing the Beam, which is a fantastic book about Atari 2600 development. And it's kind of the way that Spelunky uses it as well. You basically have like 7 rooms that you choose from. So 0 is invalid, obviously, and then you got 1 through 7. So you basically got 8 rooms, 0 being bad or just blank. And so you have a grid of rooms, and then you create your map from a starting room. So your starting room has got, I've just arbitrarily chosen here that the start has got either an exit on the bottom, an exit top and bottom, or an exit just on the top. So that's the starting room type. And then any other room can just be off of that. Now, there's, I don't want to, I think I'm gonna make like so the starter dungeons will be 5 by 5, then it'll be 10 by 10, then it'll be or 10 by 5 by 10, and then it'll be expand from there, and that'll make it sort of bigger, like more adventurous type thing. But this is the I don't think you can see it down. Maybe I can bring it into view there. I don't have it quite in frame there, this picture. But the idea is that you'll have this kind of like golden path through from the start to the end, and then you'll have like kind of side quests at the bottom. So the further down you are, the more likely you are to have like a or the further away from the end goal is where the side quest is. So you basically got to go kind of looking for it. That's the idea. So each of these rooms is going to be made up of 16 by 16 blocks. So I'm going to go and do that just now, which is probably not really an entertaining part of the video, because I need to try and figure out how we can merge tile maps together, and that's going to be the tricky part for me, because I'm not really sure how to do that yet. And this is one of the reasons why I've been putting this particular video off for a while, is just the procedural generation part of it. Because I've never done procedural generation before, and it's I've got a funny feeling I'm going to make a fool of myself in this video. I think there are many ways to make a cake, so to speak. I'm mixing my metaphors now, but we'll see. But yeah, this is going to be a grid system random generator type thing. And that's what I'm going to work with just now. So yeah, without further ado, I think I'm going to get cracking and build these sort of archetype rooms out of the blocks that I've got. They're just very, very basic blocks, but at least they'll be kind of that way. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure something out. Okay, well, on with it. So here we are again. All right. So I'm going to create an empty object. I'm going to put that at 0, 0, 0. And then I'm going to add a 2D object, which is going to be a tile map. And I didn't parent it to that. That's interesting. Okay, so the grid is X, Y, Z. I've got a funny feeling. Oh no, that should be okay. X, Y, Z. Yeah, because we're looking at it face on. Yeah, it should be fine. And the tile map is this one here. Now, the question is, do I want to have multiple tile maps here and then rearrange them? Or do I want to be able to draw the tile maps independently? Let's try drawing the tile maps independently, but that means that I need to know how to build the rooms in order to do that. So maybe I need to figure that out as well. Okay, this is going to be a little bit trickier than I thought it was going to be. So, okay. Let me think. Do I have tiled in here? I do. Okay, maybe I can use tiled for this. Oh, this is a game I was working on. There's my spawn point over there, and yeah, yeah, that's player start. All right, okay. Object spawn player start. So many things to go wrong here. All right, so if I create a tile map and if I go to here and then I choose the material, sprites default, that's fine. Sorting order none. And then I have a tile palette and I create a new tile palette. And this is just going to be called Dungeon. And then I'm going to create that. Oh, actually, I can't create that yet. Just 1 second. If I go to block tile set here, I need to make sure. So I added this tile set earlier on, but I need to make sure that each block is 16 pixels per unit. Remember, everything we have in this game is a unit to make everything well, uniform, basically. And I want point no filter, and I want to generate maps. Alpha is source, and then click on apply. And then I go into the sprite editor, and you see we have our 2 blocks here. And then I want to say slice, and I want to do it by cell count. So it's 16 by 16 slice. And you see that we have our 2 sprites here. And click on apply, and then go there. And now we can create a new palette. So if I create Dungeon, and then click on create, and then that's going to be art. What am I creating here? Palette. Okay, so this is going to be tile set, and I'll call this Dungeon tile set. Oh, yeah, you just choose the folder. Sorry, select folder, and then that's done. So drag tile sprite or sprite texture into here. So I'm going to drag this one into here, and then inside there, generate tiles into folder, select folder, and so it creates my 2 tiles for me. So now if I want to make this, I just go into here, and you can see that it is now very much in the grid, although the grid is not aligned with where our grid is, which is no es bueno. I thought it would be. Let me go into Sprite Editor again. No, it's the center. Okay, well, we can adjust where our character is. I think that should be okay, but it seems to be that it's on the upper left there. So if I go to here and go to Sprite Editor, of course this is going to screw everything over, isn't it? And then I choose pivot, and then I choose top left, then that's going to move everything over. Where's the other one? These are all there. Okay. So if I choose all of them, I can't choose all of them, can I? Ugh. Revert. Sprite Editor, and if I choose that, then I choose top left for him, and then the bad guy is that zombie with the red shield. So it's one of these guys. I don't know which one, but let's just make them both top left. Top left. This is probably a bad idea, actually. Let's not do that just now. Let's revert that. Okay, so the issue now I've got is, oops, I can't draw. The issue I have now is that I I don't want to really draw anything on here. I want to be able to set the grid though, but I don't want to be able to draw anything on the grid. So I'm wondering if I can get away with knowing what the tile map is and then drawing on the tile map itself. So I'm going to create a little script that does that. And I'm going to do that inside world, and then I'm going to create a folder called tilemap. And then inside tilemap, I'm just going to create a debug one just now. So this is going to be, actually, let's just call it dungeon. Let's call it dungeon generator for now, and then we'll deal with it in a sec. I think what we can do is we can offset. If we offset the grid, what's the grid at? Let's see what grid's at here. Come on. Yes, I am enjoying it. Not now. So if we have the grid there and we offset that by 0.5 and 0.5, that shifts everything down. So then we go to the tile map and we bring back, where is the tile palette? We bring back the tile palette, and I choose that and choose that. Then everything's aligned. So you can see that we can then create our walls in here. Oops, well, that's a bad wall, but you get the idea. We can fix that in a sec. And then we go to the game, you can see that it's now aligned. And I'm wondering if it will block. No, it did not block, because I don't have a tile block on it. So if I add collider, so there should be a tilemap collider 2D in there, and you see that it now has the colliders there. So now, no, still not colliding. Why you not collide? Oh, I think I know why. Okay, so this one here, if I go to the scene and I click on, oops, damn it, get rid of the tile palette, and I click on him, you'll see that he has impassable on there as his tag. So if I choose tile map and I tag that as impassable, That's impassable, man. No? Alright. Terrible joke, sorry. Because we use raycasts, you see that he's now stuck inside that world. So this is going to work. It's just that, oh, let's get rid of gizmos as well. It's going to work. It's just that it's, you know, we just need to figure out how to procedurally generate this world around him, so that it kind of, you know, we can have this bigger dungeon. I mean, the other thing I want to do in this video probably is, or maybe the next one, I'm not sure, is when you move the character, I want him to be center stage. So when we move the character, it'll do a kind of like skip over. So that's one thing to look out for. So so we have our tile map here, and everything looks like it's running. Tile palette, let's go and erase what we just did there. So let's go and get rid of this here. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to do like a programmatic version of what I'm doing here, which is painting on the tile maps. Everything works in a, what did I say it was going to be? Calc. So it is basically a 256 by 192 screen, which is strangely enough the same as the Nintendo DS and ZX Spectrum. And so the 256 divided by 16 is 16. 192 divided by 16 is what? 12? Yeah, 12. Okay. So everything's going to be 16 by 12. That's going to be the sort of screen size, if you like. Okay, so for dungeon generator, what do I need to know? I need to know the tile map. So public tile map, it's probably lowercase tile map. Using Unity Engine tile map. I probably need to know the palette as well. So there's going to be a tile set in here. So that's dungeon prefab. So block tile set 1 asset, block tile set 0 asset. Do I need to import those ones in separately? Okay. So there's the tile map there. And in fact, let's not have a public one, let's have a private. And we'll say that this requires component type of tile map. Okay, so we need to put this on a tile map component, and then inside void awake, tile map equals get component tile map, and that gets our component there. And then void start, do some magic here to draw things on the tile map. So what do we have in tile map? We have tilemap.set. Is there a set tile? And that takes a position and a tile. Okay, so what is tile base? td dot I'm assuming we can't do that because it's going to be an abstract class. Usually, if you see the word base, it's going to be an abstract class. And there you go, it is an abstract class. So there's going to be, do we have to create our own tile base? So there's tile data, tile map, sprite tile. Is it going to be a sprite tile? what is there in tile maps? Unity engine tile maps dot tile. There is not. So what do you have to do in tile base then? So tile base is a scriptable object. Refresh tile. Refresh tile. I don't know, folks. This is all new territory to me. Maybe we should look at the docs. Tile map. Programmatically draw. I do mean that, yeah. Procedural patterns you can use with tile maps. Part 1, Unity blog. Is it just tile? Huh. Okay. Well, that's all I need is a default tile. So maybe, okay. What if I have public tile tiles? What if I have that? And then inside, so there's the tile map. So I add dungeon generator to there. And it's not compiling because this is wrong. So I add dungeon generator to there. And that gives me the tiles. So can I then just drag and drop these tiles in here? So I set that lock there. And then I grab these two. And I block that one there. And I drag them into there. Oh, okay. Okay, so block tile set 0 is the main tile. And then the smaller one, the one that's the sort of edge on the way down, is tile 1. Okay, so if I do tile map dot set tile new vector 3 int 0, 0, 0, comma tiles 0, that will place a block up here, or maybe down here. I'm guessing up here. I think that might be 0, 0 up there. No, it places it right in the middle there. Okay. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that, well, I mean, it's going to work. It's not letting me go down there, though. So it's blocking me. It's like I can't get into, I can get into that bit there, but I can't get into that space there. That is weird. It's not like there's anything else there. I mean, it's not like it's just stopping me from getting there. But it wasn't before. I mean, if I take that out, and then I draw on here, where's my tile map again? Tile palette. So if I take this and then I just draw it here, which is the same as that. Oh, there you go. Oh, hello. Why is that offset from there? I think it's because if I do remove component and then I do tilemap collider 2D, it puts it back in the right place. Aha! So if I do remove component and then I do delete there and save it, and then what I do is at the very end you must add collider. So then we do add component, game object dot add component tilemap collider 2D, blah 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 blah, and now it will not, I repeat not, put the collider in the wrong place. So if I add the gizmos, it's around the collider. Okay, so if I now go over here, you can see that we can now go around him. I can't collide into him, but I can wander all around him. So that's good. Okay, so that's, it's fine. Okay, I think we can live with that. So now the biggest issue I have though is I need to go and create all of these rooms. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to not video this, but I'm going to go and create it offline, and then I'll come back. I think that's the best idea to do. Okay, I'll do that. All right, so I did all that, and now what I need to do is I need to create a JSON format so that we can get all of this in. So if I show an explorer, and then I open Sublime Text. So this is the data format. And so each one of these layers represents a different room type. So we have start room 1, start room 2, start room 3. We have the four-way. We have open bottom left and right. We have open top left and right. We have left and right. And that's it. That's all the room types that we have. So what we need to do now is create the format for that, and yeah, bring it in. And then we need to generate the map itself. So okay. So maybe we need to start at like an arbitrary position on like the bottom and then work our way to the top, and then like create some interesting ways to get there, I guess. We'll see. I'm still not entirely convinced this is a terribly good idea, but whatever. All right, so so tilemap, and then we need to do add there serialization, and then add and class, and then this is going to be our tilemap tilemap model. We'll make that public, and so it needs to have layers. So we need to have layers public, and then this is going to be dungeon shape. Let's just call it dungeon model. layers. And so we now need a add class dungeon model. So we've got our dungeon model here, which consists of data, height, name, type, visible, width, X and Y. We don't need height, we don't need width, we don't need anything like that. The only thing we really need is the data and the name. So I need public string name, public int data. I think it's just an array. I don't think it's an array of arrays, it's just an array. Okay, and because we know that it's going to be 16 by 16 across by 12, we don't need to know how much that is. And you can see there that we've got 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then zeros where there is no block. So that is good. That's our dungeon model, and let's mark that as serializable, which means that there. Mark that serializable, and this is serializable as well. And then our reader, our dungeon generator, we're going to have public string done shapes equals, and then whatever we've called it in here, I'm just going to default it to their room types. Room types. So then on awake, we're going to do var text asset. There you go. TypeScript. Var text asset equals resources load text asset, and then it's going to be dungeon shapes. Actually, it's just going to be text. So that's going to be our text asset. It's going to be our dungeon JSON, and then we're going to take that JSON and make it into an object. So we're going to say var, not dungeon model, tilemap model equals JSON utility dot from JSON tilemap model and dungeon JSON. Okay, and to do put in another class, because we don't want this in the same class, we actually want this in a separate class. But for now, I'm quite happy just putting it in this class just so we can test it. And we're just going to pull the first one from there. Okay, so instead of this one here, I'm going to say for int y equals 0, y less than 12, y plus plus, for int x equals 0, x less than 16, x plus plus. So our first one is going to be the first tile map that we get. So I don't really care what the first tile map is. So var blocks equals, oops, let's make that tile map model. Tile map model. This is why we're going to put it into a separate class, because this is going to get messy, because we just want this just to do the dungeon generation, and we don't really want it to handle, we just want it to handle the randomness of it rather than loading in things and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to say tilemap model dot layers, and we're just going to pick the first one dot data. So that's our blocks. So our block ID is going to be var block ID equals blocks, and then it's going to be y times 16 plus x. If block ID is less than 1, continue. And the reason why is because if it's 0, we can change that to be explicitly 0. So if it equals 0, we just want to ignore it and then move on to the next one. Otherwise, we want to calculate the x and y position. Now the x position or the y position is going to be, we add on minus 6 to the y position. So we got float actual y. Actually, we can do var actual y equals minus 6.0 plus y. So we start off at minus 6 and we go to positive 6, and that will get us in the middle of where we need it to be. We're going to have to do something tricky later on. I just wanted this video is just going to be the sort of, it's going to be multi-parts, this one. So I just want to make sure we get stuff drawn on there. So it's like a full, full layer of items. It's what they call the minimum viable product. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that everything works end to end. So we've created our maps inside tiled. We then bring those maps inside here, and then we want to display them in Unity as a tiled map, basically. And so that's what we're doing here. So var actual x equals, and then it's going to be the same thing again. So it's half of 16, so it's going to be minus 8 plus x. We'll make these floats as well so that it knows that they're floating point numbers. And then we're going to say tilemap.setTile, and it's going to be new vector3 int actual x, actual y, 0. Oh, actually, those are, yeah, that's a good point. Those are not. Those are actually integers. Whoops. And then it's going to be new tile. Oh, no, it's not going to be new tile. It's going to be tiles block ID. And then at the very end, you must add the collider. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we pick the first layer that we find, which is going to be, I think it's going to be SR1. So it's not going to be that one. It is going to be SR1, which is this room here. It is then going to draw every block starting from the top left, going all the way to the bottom right. And we have to offset it by minus 6 on the y because our room is 12 and our center point is 0. So that's why we do that. And our x is the same as well. So we have 16 blocks along. So we want to center it on minus 8, and that's why we do that there. And that should be it, I think. So if all this works, then what we should end up seeing is index out of range. Block ID. So block ID. Oh, it's going to be block ID less than 0 because that's going to be minus 1. So the blocks are actually numbered in from 1. So it's a 1 based block ID. So when we look at the JSON, Where's the JSON again? You see that we have block ID 1, block ID 2. So block ID 1 is our full block, block ID 2 is that sort of half block that makes it look 3D. And then we have zeros, which is our, there is no block. So yeah, I actually brought that up and then totally forgot about it. So go back to the game there and let's zoom out. In fact, I think we can get rid of the grid here. So let's get rid of the grid. And now, when we play, we now have our now this has happened before. So I think the issue is that I made a mistake the last time because I think Y is actually up and not down. And I keep getting it wrong because I keep thinking I am in what am I in here? I'm in yeah. Okay. Nothing to see here. Everything's fine. So what's happened is I forgot what direction Y is in. So normally when you start drawing on a computer screen, that 0, 0 is up the top left hand corner. So you start off with 0, 0 and then you move along there and that's positive X, and you move down there and that's positive Y. However, in Unity and most 3D applications, that's not the case. It's actually the other way around. So I got my offsets wrong there. So hopefully this should work now, and we should see our tile map drawn. Well, it's drawn, but it's not drawn in the right place, and it's still upside down. So it was right with the -8. I think that's actually upside down. I think the problem is that the data is upside down. Yeah. It should be 6 minus Y because we're going down on the Y. Remember, Y positive that way, negative that way. I'm telling you to remember. I'm the idiot that forgot. So I apologize. Okay. So now when we run it, we should get the start. There we go. Okay. So now it's starting to feel like it's starting to feel like something. All right. Okay. So again, there's no block there. That's good. And everything gets blocked off there. Okay. So yeah, it's starting to feel like a dungeon crawler now. Okay. So obviously we can, brighten it up with more illuminating things in there and put in sort of, a couple of chests and things like that. But I'm going to leave it at that just now. So yeah, I think we have everything that we need to continue with. That was a good sort of minimum viable product that we have there. So we're taking our tiled information, bringing it into here, and then doing that kind of Spelunky thing. So the next thing to do is try and figure out the procedural generation part of it. So I think I have I want to say no clue about how to do this. It's one of the things I've been actually putting off for a while. So yeah. So if you like this video, thumbs up, and who wouldn't like this video with all these mistakes and everything in it? But it's just, again, that proof of concept. You need to, because you need to get you need to understand how to do something. No, let me scratch that. You need to figure out the small stuff, and once you figure out the small stuff, the big stuff comes easy. That's what I'm trying to say. So I have no clue how to do any of this stuff. I've never done procedural generated things before. Everything's been very prescribed. You set up a level and do all that kind of stuff. So procedural generated stuff is new, which is why I wanted to do a roguelike in the first place, because it's, if you're a small indie developer, it costs a lot of money to make a level. When you multiply that out over 20 levels, maybe you've got 100 levels in your game, whatever it is, it's costing a lot of money. So I wanted to try and do a procedural generated thing. Possibly not a good, it's not a good tutorial, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, if you like this video, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. If you want to subscribe, feel free to do that. If you like this video or others that are on my channel, feel free to share with your friends on social media. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. Right. Should I create an insight tile there? Okay, well, let's try it. Width is going to be 16 tiles. Height is going to be 12 tiles. 16 and 16. Let's do CSV left down. Yeah, let's do left down. Okay. Okay, and then I want to add new tile sets. So dungeon, and then the source is gonna be Unity. Repos. Roguelike. Art. Tile sets. Okay. Based on tile sets. Okay. So these are the two there. Okay. And you just draw anywhere you want. Oh no, there you go. That's the one. Okay. So that's the sort of general shape of the room. And obviously we're going to have what we want to do here. We want to erase all of these inside here. Okay, so that is that's our minimap, then that's our layer. So maybe we could do all these as layers and then just bring them in as that. So that's going to be our start room type 1. So start room 1. So our start room 1 is no I don't know what terrain brush. Stamp brush? Oh, I don't want that either. Is this brush? Where's the brush? Eraser. Okay, well, I'm doing so well. Is it just this one? Am I missing something? Stamp brush? No, that's not it. That's the select brush. Oh. Pen. You know what? It was selected. Okay, now it's selected again. Okay, I don't know why. Erase. So these two here have got to go, and then these two here have got to go, and then that's the sort of first room. So now I'm going to copy that and then create a new layer, add tile layer, and then this one's going to be SR2, and I'm going to delete that one there, paste that in there. like that. And then I'm going to choose eraser, and that's going to give me SR2, and then SR3, and remove that, add new tile layer, SR3, and paste that there, and then it has the top is exposed, but the bottom is not. So it is the stamp brush. Okay, so that is SR3, SR2, SR1. Okay, so that is our layers. So these are TM things. Let's bring it as a JSON map file, and we will store that in is that there? Source assets, and then maybe we'll call this resources, and then this will be room types. So room types.json. So this should show up in our game now. So we've got resources, then we've got room types.json, and if I uncheck that, you see that we have all the data in there, which is good. Okay, and for the room types, I just screwed up. Okay, I need to do that again. So if we go to 3, I actually want these ones to be that one there, because they've got to show those ones there, and the same thing for these. These have got to be like that, and then this one here is all that one there. Okay. And I think maybe these have got to be the same as well. Like that. We do the same thing here. Oops. Like that. And then the same thing for this one here. Okay. So obviously in this one you can't go to the exit there, so that's fine. And then the other rooms are just basically copies of that, but I'm just going to go through them now as well. So that one there, I'm going to choose this one here. So this is, I'm going to create one called 4-way. And then this one's going to be that one and that one. And that's going to be our 4-way. That one there. That's a 4-way. And copy that one. And this is bottom left right. So that's bottom left right. That's done. That's done. That's done. That's done. That's done. And then that one there. Tile there. Top left right. So, and left, right. Oh, there, and then this one here. There you go, and that's left, right. Okay, and that is our rooms. Okay. Right. Okay.